Hi everybody, welcome back to Adventures in Polished Land and happy Friday to you. I'm Christina and today I have a reading update. I will share what videos I uploaded this week in case you missed them. And then while I give my reading update, I wanted to have two discussions about some of the things that stood out to me in each of my reads. So actually, let me do the video recap first. The first video I uploaded was on Monday and it was my New York City book haul. So if you'd like to see the new books that came into my collection, that will be linked in the description box. And then on Wednesday, I uploaded my June TBR for the American Lit Reading Challenge. So if you want to know what books I have on tap for later this month, I will leave that linked in the description box as well. As for the reading update, first up, I finished Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. This is a book about a town called Crosby, Maine, and as you may have guessed by the title of this book, it is sort of centering on this woman named Olive Kitteridge, who is a member of this town. And what I didn't know going into this was that this is actually a book of interconnected short stories. They're all set in the same place. They involve different community members, and many of them mention Olive, some of them centering on her specifically. I don't do well with short stories, so I was struggling a little bit as this book continued, but I would say I was anywhere between the 3.5 to 4-star rating. Then we got to the very last page of the book, and I'm not going to spoil it, but when I say that the last page of this book really upset me and kind of ruined the whole reading experience for me, I'm not being dramatic. I was honestly so mad by the ending, and I could not believe that that was the message the author was giving us in the end. So if you have read this book, I would love to know your thoughts on the ending, but I was quite upset about it. And I ended up giving this book a 3-star rating. I didn't want to say the whole book was ruined for me because of the last page, because overall I think you can still learn a lot from this story. It really delves into what small town communities are like, how people have their front-facing selves and their private-facing selves, how everyone has some sort of personal problems going on that you would never know about, and how people and their lives change over the course of time. So I did get a lot out of this book, but I was pretty disappointed with how it ended. Please let me know in the comments if you've ever read a book and as you're reading it, you're like, yeah, this is fine, this is good, I'm overall enjoying it. And then on the last page, there's a passage that makes you strongly change your opinion of the book as a whole. I would love to know. I'm sure there are other books that I've had the same experience with, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But let me know first if you've read this book and what you thought of it and what you thought of the ending. If you do talk about the ending in the comments, please put a spoiler warning for anyone else. But yeah, if there are any other books that you have read where the last page of the book changed your opinion of the book as a whole, I would love to hear your experience. So now I am currently reading The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I am just over 100 pages in. I'm a little bit nervous about how long this is going to take me to read because it is 559 pages. This is about a young college student who is from California. He moves to Vermont to attend college because he really does not like his family or his home life, so he wants to escape. And while he's there, he sort of finds himself with this really unique group of friends who are taking this ancient Greek study program, and he becomes part of their in-group. But we know right from the first page of the book that a murder has taken place and that he's involved, and then you flash back in time. So I'm still figuring everything out along with our main character, and I don't know how that's going to go. The writing can be a little bit dense, but overall I'm enjoying it, and I feel like the more the book goes on, the more I'm becoming attached to the story and the characters. But the thing I wanted to discuss is a quote in the book when our main character is speaking to his new professor. And the professor says, "I believe that it is better to know one book intimately than 100 superficially." And then he goes on to say, "I know the modern world tends not to agree with me." So I really liked this quote because I am someone who really enjoys rereading books. Obviously, I do read a lot of books. I try to read as many as I can every year. And I feel like there are so many books in the world and I will never get to read them all, and that it is really upsetting when I think about that, how time is so finite and books are so infinite. But this quote actually really inspired me because I, like I said, am a person who loves to reread. I have a few books in particular that I've reread quite a few times that I've lost count because I read them when I was young, before I had any sort of means of recording my reading, and I've read them multiple times since then. I think for me, the number one most reread book is I Was a Teenage Fairy by Francesca Leah Block, which is a completely random book that I got at the library once when I was a kid, and then I ended up buying my own copy as I got older. I think one day I need to make a whole video about that. I've talked about it before, but that book just has a lot of meaning to me, even though it is a small teen book from quite a while ago. But nonetheless, I found this quote really inspiring because I totally agree with it. On the one hand, that the more you reread a text, the more you study it, the more you find, the more you come to understand, you will always find something new. And it would be really cool to be an expert on a specific book or a specific author. And I just think that is so fascinating. But on the other hand, I do want to read as many books as possible, even if I am reading them quickly and superficially and not retaining all of that information. And I think perhaps there is a balance between the two, because I am not going to give up reading new to me books, right? But I also don't want to give up the opportunity to study a certain book or reread a certain book endless amounts of times. So I would love to know your thoughts on this quote. I'll read it again. I believe that it is better to know one book intimately than 100 superficially. So let me know what you think. Would you prefer to know one book intimately and read that book only over and over and over again? Or would you prefer all the new books, but you're only reading it superficially? I think here on BookTube, most of us would say, I want the 100, right? I mean, my reading goal for the past 2 years has been to read 100 books. And one of the things I've noticed is that when I'm trying to read as many books as possible, I am not absorbing them as well as I could be, and I'm not spending time after I finish reading them to reflect on them as much as I could be. So maybe he's up to something. I look forward to reading the rest of this book to hopefully find out more about this professor, because it feels like there are secrets that I have yet to uncover. So my goal from here on out is to continue reading this and hopefully finish it within a quick amount of time. Not because I want to read it superficially, but because I have a lot of books to get to. Maybe this guy's up to something. I'm going to be thinking about that. But let me know your thoughts. Have you read this book? What are your thoughts on it? Non-spoiler, please, because it is a mystery novel and I am only about 1/5 of the way in. I hope you are all having a great week. Let me know what you're reading in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.